Hey, this your boy Diggaveli. Welcome back to the channel. You already know I bring the craziness, and this is going to be one of the most interesting videos I'm sure a lot of you have seen in a while. If you haven't already seen it, that is. But I ain't going to do too much talking, guys. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Fallen State. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Help us fight censorship by hitting the thumbs up button, and then don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. You can ring my bell. Ring the bell, all right? I have with me today Pastor Kurt D. Thomas. He's a senior pastor of the Renewed Church of Los Angeles. Am I right?
That is correct.
Renewed Church of Los Angeles. Thank you for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
I absolutely appreciate it.
Thank you.
And so, were you called to be a pastor, or did you go to school for it?
Well, at the age of 9, I felt the presence of God over me. I grew up in a Pentecostal church, so I went through that entire Pentecostal experience. And it wasn't until I matriculated through college that I decided to get a bachelor's degree in theology, or to study theology while I was at Stillman College.
Oh, I see. So God didn't call you. You decided to go to school for it.
No. I believe that I was called by God to do what I do.
Oh,
Yo,
you do?
Jesse is crazy.
And why do you believe that?
Why do I believe that I was called? I know that I'm called to do what I do because because I have a passion.
You know, some men, I guess, are flamboyant, I don't know, I guess, whatever. I'm an alpha male. But, I get a little feminine vibes from Buddy, But it's crazy because growing up in black churches, you see a lot of pastors like that. And they don't really talk about it much, but you see a lot of them like that.
Passion, and I have a desire to see people elevated from where they are to where they need to be.
Oh, okay. And when
He said a desire to see people elevate from where they are to where they need to be. You don't have to be a preacher to do that. Like, it's a lot of other job titles that you can have to where you can help people do that. And what do you mean where they need to be? The only person that can decide where a person needs to be in life is them. Because they have to find out for themselves what makes them happy and what their dreams are. Everybody has different dreams. Some people growing up watching the garbage man do his job and really get fascinated with that and love that and want to do that for a living. And, like, people would be like, oh, well, you've been on that garbage job 10 years. Why don't you try to do something else to make you some more money and do this? But not knowing that this is what they always dreamed of doing and they love doing this. Some people's dreams aren't as bigger or make you as rich as everybody else's dreams. And that's okay. That's fine. Because you can't take none of this stuff with you anyway when you leave this world. So, just go for it. Go for your dreams and what you want to do for you.
you say where they are, do you believe that human beings are in a fallen state?
Explain what you mean by that.
Fallen. You're a pastor. You should know.
Yeah, but explain what do you mean by a fallen state?
Do you know? Do you believe that human beings are in a fallen state? You know what fallen means, right?
A fallen state means that they've fallen from the grace of God.
Yes.
Is that what you're? Okay.
Right.
So I believe that that humans have fallen from a fallen state, but with the whole deal with reconciliation, I think that God reconciles us back to Himself.
So you do agree then that human beings have fallen away from God, right?
That humans have fallen away from God according to Adam and
Right.
all that. Yes.
And then at some point, those who seek Him will come back.
Those who seek Him are that He's called back to them. Yes. Then they will.
Like, this dude is trying to create his own versions of stuff that's in the Bible. And see, that's what I don't understand about these people. Like, why are you trying to be a Christian pastor if you don't want to abide by everything that Christian rules and Christian Bible says? If you want to just create your own thing, do your own thing, go do that. Go say that. But don't sit here and act like you're a Christian, man, if you're not going to take their values from head to toe. Like, they be trying to change stuff and interpret it like this and my perception like this. No, man. It says what it says. If you don't like it, then you're not abiding by what you say you are, man. You just want to create your own thing.
Possible to overcome that fallen state?
it is possible to overcome that fallen state if we accept Christ back into our hearts.
Right.
So
How does one know when they're in a fallen state?
Well, a person will know that they're in a fallen state when, or is when they don't live a life that's acceptable. I believe that's really acceptable to themselves. So, like a person that is a drug addict, or a person that is drinks too much
to
liquor.
themselves. He wants people to live a life that's acceptable to themselves. People that abuse drugs and all this other stuff have accepted what they're doing for themselves. That's why they do it. So his logic is just beat, man. And this dude's really a pastor of a church. Con artist. Oh God. Excuse me.
A person that maybe not living their best life, or doing what they're called to do. I think that those people are the people that find themselves in a fallen state.
So when they're not living their life according to God, and they're in a fallen state?
If you're not living a life that is according to the principles of God, yes.
Then you're in a fallen state.
Then you're in a fallen state.
So if I read, and I don't know if it's true or not, I like to ask the person before I mention,
Okay.
know if it's true or not. Are you a homosexual?
I am a same gender loving man.
So does that mean you're a homosexual?
It means that I'm a same gender loving man.
But just I'm black and slow.
Okay.
And just for the record.
Yo, what is going on here? He just asked him, was he homosexual? He's a same gender loving man. He just keeps saying same gender loving man. You're supposed to be Christian though, bro. How does that work out? Just like a contradiction, a complete contradiction. And just Lee Peter's talking about I'm black and slow, you guys. He's great. Yo, he's one of he's top 3 number 1 troll on the internet.
Does that mean you're a homosexual?
I could be considered a homosexual.
Are you considered? I don't want to think of you if you're not.
I'm a homosexual.
You're a homosexual?
Yes.
And so you're a homosexual pastor?
I am a homosexual pastor, yes.
How long have you been a homosexual pastor?
I've been a pastor for 8 years, senior pastor, and then before that, prior to that, I was a youth pastor.
Oh, okay. Why do you think that God would call a person, a homosexual, to be a pastor but not change him?
So, I don't think that God majors where we minor. And so I think that what happens is, I think that
he talking about God like it's a university. Yo, what is this guy talking about? He's a Christian preacher that just came out as homosexual, bro. That's a contradiction, my boy. What a crazy world.
We put limitations on God that God doesn't have. For example, we could, if you go to seminary or something like that, you find out that there's a thought process that God could possibly be a woman.
He can't even name the scripture. He said if you go to seminary or something like that, this dude's a complete fraud. Like 1,000,000%. On a scale from 1 to 100, 1,000,000%.
Or that God could be this, or that God could be that. That God can be whatever it is that you need him to be.
You believe that he can be a woman?
I believe that God can be whatever it is that you need him to be.
So could he be a homosexual too if you needed him to be one?
Well, honestly, I don't think that God, the Bible says that God is neither male nor female.
Right. So how can he be a woman then if he's not a female?
Well, I'm saying that, so there's a book that's who's the book? There's a book that is written, it's called,
But that's all right.
Oh my God. This dude can't even name the author. Can't even name the book. Can't defend nothing that comes out of his mouth. And this dude's a pastor. And mind you, I'm going to go back to something you said earlier with the whole youth pastor thing before that. What was he doing as a youth pastor? If some of the kids from that group came home acting weird or crazy, man, question them.
They tell you what about the book?
But in the book, The principles of the book talk about God swaying himself to the spirit, and it's called The Shack by W.M. Paul Young. And so if you read that book, then you find out that God basically finds himself congruent to whatever state of mind a person is in.
So he's talking about go find a book from an author as a reference point to believe God is this some certain type of way just because somebody decided to write a book. Straight delusion, nasty work, the nastiest of work.
And so at one state, God is a Jewish carpenter. At one state, God shows himself as a big black woman in the kitchen cooking.
Big black woman?
A black woman in the kitchen cooking. And
So you think God could be a big black woman?
I think that God can be whatever it is that you need God to be at that moment.
Do you think that God can be a homosexual too?
I don't. If God needs to be a homosexual, I think that he was, but I don't liken him to that. I don't liken the word. I don't liken God to be, to be an isolated gender.
So you believe that God could be a woman, a big black woman,
God
a
could
homosexual?
God could be whatever you need God to be.
And so does that person make God what they want him to be in their mind so they can accept being wrong? Or does God switch genders and all that kind of stuff?
I don't think that that we create God to be whatever we want God to be in our minds. I think that it's based on experiences.
He said, but he just said that he thinks God could be whatever you want him to be or need him to be. And then he just said that he don't think that it's based on what we see him as and want him to. This guy is one of the biggest fries. He's looking like my man Derek Jackson. He on that type of fry. My man who used to get on there talking about all the stuff and was cheating on his wife, doing all that. He sound like Derek Jackson, man.
The experiences of that person allows God to transform himself in whatever it is that person needs to be. For an example, if you've ever gone to Africa, or if you've ever gone to a part of the world where there's no westernized religions, to where people they don't have an isolated form of who Jesus is or what he looks like, opposed to what you were talking about earlier.
Right.
We don't know what he looks like, and so since that, God becomes whatever it is that person's experience.
But those countries that don't believe in God, they are S-hole countries, and they're all trying to come here now and bring their S-hole attitudes.
Their S-hole? What is that?
Huh?
What is that?
What is S-hole country? It's an S-H-I-T hole.
Oh, you're saying that they're S-hole countries.
Right, because those people don't believe in God.
I wouldn't say that they don't believe in God. I would say
they don't believe in the real God. They have their own made-up God based on their imagination, right?
I wouldn't say that. I would say that we experience God on the level that we know God. So if you have somebody that is an Indian and they've never had anyone explain to them the ideology of God that is created here in Western culture, then
I agree with him on that. If you grow up in a certain culture, you perceive God as who you think it is, because a lot of people aren't Christianized or Muslim or turned Muslim. It's a lot of religions out here, and some of the people haven't came in contact with it. So I agree with him on that. That's probably the only thing that smart or logical that this crook has even said the whole interview.
I think that
what is Western culture?
Western culture is where we are now. It's what we operate in a canonized version of the Bible, in which we accept as the authentic truth of who.
But Western culture is the best culture, right?
I wouldn't say that.
Then why everybody trying to come here? If we're not the best, if Western culture is not the best culture, why everybody trying to come to what's not the best culture?
Is everybody trying to come here?
Everybody and their mama. Have you noticed we can't even keep the illegals out?
I wouldn't say that everybody's trying to come here, but I would say that there are people that are trying
from all over the world
to come here from all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if we are not the best country, why are they trying to come here? Why don't they go to the best country?
We could consider ourselves to be the best country,
But we
and
are
maybe,
the best.
and maybe.
And that's because
This dude is so delusional.
of Western culture.
Well, I wouldn't use the word best. Maybe I would use the word. We're probably a country where people are allowed to be free and be themselves.
So we're the best.
If you say best, then I'll go with that.
So I want to go back. You say God is a black woman.
This dude can be a black gay Christian preacher over here in America and thinks that America isn't the best. Where else could you go and do this, man? Where else could you go and do this? Like, come on, man. You can be a unicorn in America right now, and nobody would say nothing to you, you know. But come on, man.
I didn't say God was a black woman. I used the book as an analogy
That God was a black
to
woman.
show us that God could be whatever it is that we need God to be.
Amazing. Do you believe that book?
I believe that God could be whatever it is that we want God to be.
Really?
Yes.
And so you've been a homosexual all your life, you said earlier, right?
At the age of
You wanna break?
9, I knew that I liked the same sex. Yes.
How did you become that way?
I didn't become that way. I knew that was my innate nature to be to like men.
And so how did your nature go from a natural nature of being a man or male to an unnatural nature of becoming a woman? How did that happen?
You said the unnatural nature of me becoming a woman?
Yeah, how, if you were born a natural male, right?
You're born a natural male.
Right, you were, right?
I am a male currently sitting here in front of you.
But how did you go from being a natural male to an unnatural woman?
Who's an unnatural woman?
But isn't homosexuality is like being a female feelings?
No,
What is it?
no.
What is it exactly?
Being gay is being gay, being a homosexual, whatever term that a person wants to
Right.
use to identify themselves. It's an innate state of being. It means that this is who that person is. If I'm not a woman, I'm a man sitting here in front of you having a conversation. I have a penis, just like you have.
Well,
a
you
penis.
do have the male parts, but now they're cutting that off too. Did you hear about that? We'll get to that. But do you feel inwardly? Do you feel like a male or you feel like a female?
I am a male sitting here in front of you.
No, but what do you feel
I
like?
feel
on
like
inside?
a male. And
Inside?
I am a male sitting here in front
I
of you.
realize that, but inside, do you feel like a man or you feel like a woman?
I am a male sitting here in front of you. So that answers your question, right?
I know.
I
but
don't feel like anything because I am a male.
You don't feel like neither male nor woman.
I am a male sitting here in front of you.
I realize that, but what made you think you're a homosexual then? If there's not a
What makes
feeling on
me-
the inside, why do you think you're
Homosexuality is not a feeling; it's a state of being. It's who the person innately is.
Uh-huh.
It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with creating a feeling that you're talking about.
Jesse asking a good question. He's getting offended. Like, straight males, like, we don't know how it is to be gay or want to be gay. You know, so we really curious as to how people feel. You know, it's not no disrespect or nothing, but I be wanting to know, like, what makes a man feel like that, because my brain doesn't work like that. That's all Jesse's asking, and this dude is just getting, like, so disrespected. Like, come on, man, it's not that serious.
About it's an innate. It's the innate nature of who that person is. I innately am who I am. Me being gay or homosexual has nothing to do for me with being a man. It has everything to do with my preference and who I choose to sleep with.
What does the word innately mean? What does that mean? I'm black and slow. I don't know what that means.
The word innate.
Uh-huh.
The word innate means that I'm not changing or I'm not becoming something else. I am who I am.
Just before we started the show, you said that you introduced your, is he your husband or your wife? Is that your husband? He gonna be your husband or your wife?
I'm gonna end this interview.
Why?
Yeah, because we're ending this right now.
Why you want to end?
We're ending it.
Well,
Take
why?
this
Come
off.
back.
Take this off.
What?
You want to have a real conversation?
I'm
Call
having-
me.
I'm-
No, you're bullshitting me,
Come
and
back.
I'm not gonna be a part of that. Come take this off of me, or I'm gonna take it with me.
But why are you running?
Come take this off of me, or I'm gonna take it with me. Please take it
That's
off of
crazy.
me.
Really,
Because
come take it
you're
off.
disrespecting me.
But no, I'm
So-
asking you really.
Please take it off.
Am
or
I
I'm gonna
asking
take
him
it
real
with
serious
me.
questions?
No, I'm saying, just let them take their recording.
It's okay.
No, that's not what
Okay,
we're doing.
so
Just take it off.
yeah.
But
Is
tell me
it-
why
is
you're
it
running.
down?
I'm not running, sir, but when you want to have a real conversation,
We'll get-
you have my information. You can
But you
call
said
me.
that you were gonna.
When you want to have a real conversation,
You said
when
that
you
you
want to have a
marry.
real
You
conversation,
said you
you
gonna
can
marry.
call.
What's not real about that, man? He just wanted to ask a question, man. That's crazy. This is a first for me, though. I've never seen an openly gay Christian pastor like that. I wonder what he's telling his church, man. If somebody got any info or links or something on his church, they live stream or do anything, please send it to me. I'm interested in seeing. Yeah. Well, y'all seen it like I seen it, man. It gets crazy about a day. Take care, I'm out.